My question is going to be, thank you. My question is first, we want to balance the budget, and I'm all for you. People are going to say to you, Mike, who are you going to cut? Are you going to cut the grandma? Are you going to cut? Are you going to cut the kids in school? This is a question you need to be able to answer. You say, I'm with. I want to balance the budget. What are you going to say when people will say to you?
I can answer the question.
What's the question?
Okay.
What's the answer? Who are you going to cut? How do you balance it?
Okay. It's not just a question of what you cut, because it's also a question of revenue. It's a question of how much money are we bringing in and how much money are we putting out. So let's think about that for a moment. Let's address the first problem. How much money are we bringing the money in? How much money are we raising? Well, that's part of the reason why I said, let's look at cutting the corporate tax rate, because that brings new business. That takes the mom and pops, that takes the individuals who've been saving up or actually would like to save up, the opportunity to take those funds, go out into the marketplace, create a new business. Now, you may have seen this happen before because it's worked in history before. You ever heard of Microsoft, Apple, Intel? Yeah, those are small companies. Now, yes, it took a little time for them to build up, but let's think about that. Where did they get the opportunity? It was called the 80s. What were we doing then? We were reinvigorating the nation after a horrible time.
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan, that's
The
right.
president even said, they said to him, you cut a news program, cut the taxes, you're going to get more money.
Well, yeah.
And he said he's not interested in that, he's more interested in fairness.
Well, I can
And I'm
tell you
thinking,
for sure.
Really?
What I can tell you for sure, Romney, President Obama, the leaders of the House and the Senate have all said the same thing. We need to cut the corporate tax rate. We haven't done it yet. That was back in 2008, 2009, just the election in 2012. Well, how about we actually get there? Well, that takes accountability. But to answer the question, one of the first things is that. One of the second things that we have to do, let's change the way that we account for the income that comes in. We have a tax bracket system right now. Does anyone understand it? No. And guess what? It got revised this year. And next year it's going to get revised again. And God knows what the IRS is really doing out there, because now they're in question too.
Yes, Michael, I have a short question for you.
Okay.
You talked earlier about the low grade that people pay to Congress, okay?
Yes.
I look at Congress as two separate entities.
Yes.
You have Congress and you have the Senate.
Uh-huh.
Right now, I think people are getting confused by calling it the Congress. I know that the Congress has set several bills to balance the budget, which die in the Senate. It seems like everything that they try to pass in the Congress dies in the Senate. And as far as I'm concerned, my fault is with the Senate, not the Congress per se.
Well, I understand, and you're right. There is a general intermingling of the terms. Congress is actually supposed to mean the House of Representatives, the Senate being the Senate. We call it the whole House as Congress on a regular basis. But let's understand, why is the Senate blanket refusing to pass any budgets? There's a problem with budget. All part of government and the elected officials, their job is to reach a compromise to get to the goal. Now, that doesn't mean give up your principles. That doesn't mean that, oh, I'm just going to let it go. It means that these are the views that my constituents have. And here's some of the issues that we're willing to work with. And on the other issues, not. I was about to mention something that works in that line. Let's change the tax code, because everyone's talking about it. Change it. How about 8, 10, 12? Simple. You've heard something similar to this before, and you know what? It's a great idea. 8% for those who are 5% above poverty line, 10% for everybody else, 12% for the corporate rate. That brings in money. 12% pays for the bottom half, plus has enough left over, plus you have 10% for everyone. We have money in our pockets. We can now decide how to use that money. We can go out and create the businesses, which creates the growth. We get the new innovations. That helps to move the country forward. Match that. A very simple idea. We're talking about 1 page for your taxes. Simple. Let's match the simplicity of our household and the knowledge we have there. Put that together with another simple thing. Let's not spend money we don't have. Or if we're going to, come on, at least be logical enough to spend it carefully. cut back our spending. You cannot tell me, no one can say this, because every single report ever done shows this. Government wastes money better than it spends money. So how about they cut 10% across the board? Every department, to answer your question. Every department cuts 10%. You can't tell me you can't find that waste. You know what, 10% plus a good revenue stream coming in, we are now on the road towards having a better economy.
They couldn't do 2%.
But they can.
You can't
You know what, they can. If we hold them accountable, yes, they can. They're not being held accountable right now. Let's change that. Let's get people in there who are going to say, I'm going to do what you want, and I'm going to make this happen. But it can't happen if we don't elect those people. It can't.
Jane, do you?
And Mr.
Not gonna do it.
Vasquez, are you familiar with Agenda 21 and Sustainable
I
Development?
understand certain aspects of Agenda 21. I understand certain aspects of sustainability. I've actually recently talked to one of the sustainability groups in Binghamton. The Binghamton, but they may not be looking at the same objective that you're speaking about. This is the Binghamton Regional Sustainability Coalition. They're looking to grow, and their express purpose is to grow organic foods in the neighborhoods, to create more gardens, and to help people individually become more self-sufficient without government. Now, that's something I can agree with, and I think that's something that can be supported.
Not all parts of it are bad.
Uh,
It's the way they're going about it.
That's a different problem.
That is the
But
problem.
see, I want to make that distinction.
Can I give each of you a folder?
Sure.
My other question is, would either one of you consider going on a Bob
He didn't say
Joseph
who
show?
it is.
Oh, I mean, of course.
Yeah, first thing,
Because we can advocate for you on that.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
We'd be happy to advocate, you know, could you please bring on Doug Drazen, Michael Vasquez, could you please put them on there? We want to hear from them. So if you don't mind this, we'd like to contact the Bob Joseph Show and request that they contact you and, you know,
Yes.
come on.
Oh, yeah.
The more people that hear your message, the better it is.
Well, to answer something about that, yes, I'll be happy to do that, and that's part of the reason why I'm starting off so early.
Good.
As you might realize, we're not going to have a primary for Congress. I don't have that primary run until April of 2014. I'm an underdog. I'm behind by about $6 million. Let's put out the numbers where they are. That's okay, because it doesn't take money to win when you have a purpose and you have a conviction. That's why I have the website. And yes, I look at that. And you know what? I want to mention one other thing about that. If you get $20 from 10,000 people, that's the same thing as if you get 40 PACs to give you that same amount of money. You know what's really important about that? People vote. PACs don't. Let's get involved. It doesn't take a lot. It takes people being involved. That's the important thing. I think you'd agree with that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. People power is really important.